Hi everyone, welcome into Siren Records Monterey. It's Fresh Catch Friday. I realize that my background here is a little rough looking and not what we're used to. I'm telling you, it's late, and I have had so many people just wasting my time today that it all frittered away, and I ended up being here just later than even usual. And so I'm going to try to keep my descriptions for you quick, concise, and to the point, and just so we can all get our weekend started. What is it? Today is, well, it's Friday, duh. But anyway, it seemed like there was something else I wanted to tell you. Anyway, if you're new here, hi. This is Siren Records in Monterey, California. And every Friday we have a little discussion about some of the new releases and reissues that came out on vinyl. I will post a list down below. It's alphabetical, so if this tends to run on too long for you to hold your interest, you can skip ahead by seeing we go kind of in an alphabetical order, and that way you can blow through the stuff you don't want to hear about. Okay, so let's get started as always with picks of the week. And my pick this week, I gotta say, that's the other thing. I have my notes up here in front of me instead of down below, so I'm going to see if this works in a way to try to connect with you better, telling you the information instead of being like downward all the whole time. Okay, so let's just throw it on the wall and see if it sticks. My pick for you is the great Sharon Van Etten, and this is called We've Been Going About This All Wrong, and this is on the Jaguar label. Now, this is her self-produced 6th album. She's a singer-songwriter, if you don't know, and she has opted out of sharing any advanced singles for this release on purpose, just because this album is intended to be listened to in order, all at once, assuring that the audience has the same transformative journey that she had while she was making the record. So, that's all been thought out, and it's a story, and it unfolds for you. It's a journey, and she is really at an all-time high of crafting these very powerful songs on this journey, that the subjects are things like motherhood and partnership, loving yourself, navigating the darkness that plagues both her individuality as well as her being part of the collective. And it's not really a fair claim to say that this is her most mature to date, because if you have listened to her, I'm sure that you've picked up on that she has progressed with every album that she's made. But this one, I would say, it could very well be her most fulfilling album to date. It's just incredibly well crafted. She's so intense, such great lyrics, and wow, what an artist. This is the initial run here, is a limited edition. It comes on marbled smoke colored vinyl, and it has a gloss finish gatefold jacket, 4 color printed inner sleeves, and like I said, that first pressing here is on that limited edition smoke vinyl. But wow, it's a banger, and just love her. She's just so great. It also comes on cassette if you're interested in that. But yeah, that is my pick for us, the great Sharon Van Etten. Now, this is a reissue, but it's still a pick, and this is Kishibashi, and this is 151A, and this is a double, and it comes to us on clear vinyl. This is, they say you spend your entire life writing your first album, piecing every moment, every turn of a phrase, every thematic epiphany into this collage, okay? So this multi-instrumentalist here, Kishibashi, his name is Kei Ishibashi, but Kishibashi is the nickname and what he goes by. Well, anyway, he really kind of disproves that. This is his 2011 debut record, and it was a really this great launch pad for him to go on to bigger and better things. Now, he was always like a side player that used to support people like Regina Spektor of Montreal, Sandra Lerche, people like that. And this debut, it really shows you how he's kind of become one of indie rock's most in-demand violinists. Violin and indie rock don't always, kind of mesh, but he does it with every album. This debut really cemented the fact that this guy can really do it on his own merit. So, this is like the reissue of that. It's all deluxed up on that clear vinyl. And, every album of his, he also, he just gets better and better. But this is the debut. If you want to try Kishibashi and you haven't before, well, take a listen. It's pretty good stuff. And normally I just do those 2 picks, but today when we were playing new releases, this one just made everybody happy, and just because we happen to love her. This is Kylie Minogue, Infinite Disco, BMG Rights Management. This was a pre-recorded live stream concert that this Australian singer-songwriter Kylie Minogue, she had in support of her 15th studio album that was called Disco. It was broadcast on 2 dates in 2020, and it's just good danceable pop. It's familiar Kylie Minogue vocals. It's got a lot of kind of great soul bass lines and guitar riffing that goes with it too. Anyway, it was just a record that just like had the whole place feeling happy for a bit today, and so totally worth a mention. Gotta love Kylie. She might have held off to release that next month for June for Pride Month, but she didn't, and it's here now, and so why wait? Okay. Now let's get to the meat of it, and okay. Let's try this. I hope this is working out on the screen a little better for you guys. It is. I think it is for me. Okay, first up, this is, it's called Chick Chick Chick. It's the symbols of the exclamation points are the band name, believe it or not. Okay, this is called Let It Be. It's on Warp Records. It spans 11 tracks. The band's production forward album. It's very. It incorporates a multitude of styles and genres. It's becoming their most eclectic release to date. They have taken a new approach to recording over the past 2 years, primarily working in a box to start as opposed to their usual studio-focused approach. I should have said probably working outside of the box, not in a box. Sorry. But anyway, the result, they've got this prominent electronic dance-leaning edge that, kind of goes along with their familiar sonic motif and songwriting. It just pushes forward the new dynamic for these guys. They are from New York. They're kind of a mainstay on the scene there. This comes on blue vinyl, and it's called Let It Be. All right. Then we have Arcade Fire has a new one, and it's called We. This is on Columbia Records Group. It's the new album from Canadian rock band Arcade Fire. It's made up of 7 songs that speaks to the moment with unique directness, really a cohesive we. It's written, recorded, and released during a critical historical juncture. They're divided into 2 very distinct sides here on this record. One of the sides evokes and embodies our hold-up anxiety and lack of physical connection. The other side captures the excitement and new possibilities and elevating the thrill of committing to one another socially and personally. It's a 40-minute epic, as much about forces that threaten to pull us away from the people we love as it is inspired by the urgent need to overcome them. So this, as far as I can tell here, is... I guess it's just on black vinyl, okay? So here for you now, new Arcade Fire. Did you ever even think you'd see it? But then I think, didn't their singer just bail? So I don't know. We don't know what's going on there. But anyway, if you've been waiting on it, it is here for you now. The next is Aurora, The Gods We Can Touch. This is a double. It's an elegant and celestial but very provocative album about shame, desire, and morality, all seen through this narrative prism of Greek mythology. In each of the album's 15 songs, we meet like a different Greek god. Anyway, the lead single, Cure for Me, is featured here. The album is ultimately a celebration of being human and what makes us human. And this also, not only just double vinyl, but it also does come on cassette as well. And I think that Aurora's been getting a bit of buzz, so you probably have heard mumblings about that if it doesn't sound familiar, or if it does sound familiar. I really enjoyed that, listening to it today. I thought it was great. Okay, next up, this is Les Baxter, The Soul of the Drum Bright, and this is that it? The Soul of the Drums. Where did I get the word bright? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, if Les Baxter's 1951 album Ritual of the Savage invented exotica, then this 1963 album, The Soul of the Drums, it kind of perfected it. Here was this sonic space age journey into far-flung musical ports that the genre promised. It has samba and cha-cha and rhythms played by African, Brazilian, Cuban, Haitian voodoo drums that propel Baxter's typically masterful string and vocal arrangements, colored some of the most fun instruments like a glockenspiel, harp, Chinese gong, marimba, and vibraphone are all on here. It's all in a great creation of bringing these really kind of fun, unusual instruments into the sway. And it's very sultry and gently swaying ride to the bottom of an umbrella drink, they're saying. And it's crafted by one of the best musical bartenders ever to wave a swizzle stick, in this case a baton. First ever reissue of this classic record. It comes in bright green vinyl that matches the alluring cover here, like this green. And it's limited to 1,500 copies. So yeah, that's a great one to grab. Next up is Ben Folds 5, The Complete Sessions at West 54th. And this is on the Real Gone Music label. So in 1997, PBS began airing sessions at West 54th. It was a program that was very far removed from the live music fare aimed at like older folks that usually found on the PBS network. Instead, sessions at West 54th, it brought the hottest and hippest acts around New York to perform live in front of a studio audience. So one of the first acts that was asked to appear was Ben Folds 5, which was a very big deal to Ben Folds, and he viewed it as an equal to a classic BBC live music television show. And he walked into it thinking, this is the one I leave behind. And it felt like some kind of a time capsule gig, he was saying. So now Real Gone are thrilled to present the complete performance here as recorded at Sony Music Studios. It's a 2 LP release and the first live album to be released from the vintage years of the trio that consisted of Ben Folds, drummer Darren Jesse, and bassist Robert Sledge. Among the 15 tunes are 3 from their self-titled debut, 9 from their then current release Whatever and Ever, Amen, and featuring their hit Battle of Who Could Care Less, and 3 songs that had not been released at the time, Emmeline, theme from Dr. Pizer, and their radically reimagined cover of the Flaming Lips, She Don't Use Jelly. So Folds and crew were they were always very great as a live band, but they even recorded their studio albums in a very largely like live setting, and this performance just it has that palpable intensity of you know, a live performance that, you know, just sometimes the room sounds like that. Anyway, it's very evident on this. So anyway, as Ben Folds says in the liner notes that accompany this release, this gig was pretty special. It's available on tan and black scuffed parquet vinyl to match the floor of the studio where it was recorded. So very nice release from Ben Folds 5. Okay, now these are a couple of reissues from the Robert Cray band from the Pro Vogue label. There's this one that's In My Soul, and this is his album from 2014. He was an iconic blues guitarist. I don't mean to say it in past tense. He's alive, but anyway, it's on light blue vinyl, and there's also Nothing But Love. And this one was from 2012. Again, from, he's just a completely iconic blues guitarist, and also on the blue color, I believe it's like this kind of color here. So you can get those 2 reissues now. And let's see, then we have, all right, this band is called Crystal Lakes. This is called Helix, and it's on Sharp Tone Records. Limited aqua blue colored vinyl LP pressing of this. And it does say aqua blue on the sticker here if you're in the store and you're looking for it. Okay, so this is the 5th studio album from this Japanese metalcore band, and it was originally released in 2018, produced by Daihei Yakamana and the band themselves. So ready for you. All right, next up is Cucco, Wanna Be With You, and this is on the Cucco label. Cucco presents his debut on vinyl for the first time. Vinyl features a limited edition zoetrope animation on each side of the LP to commemorate the 5th anniversary. So there's the back as well. Want to Be With You is a milestone release that mixed relatably catchy psych bedroom pop songs in English and Spanish, endearing Cucco and other first-generation Latin Americans and fans of young artists. Zoetrope is a pre-film animation device that produces the illusion of motion by displaying a sequence of drawings or photographs that show progressive phases of that motion. So you've got that on both sides of this if you want to get into somehow trying to hook up a zoetrope and see what happens there, okay? Oh, God. Okay, next is the 25th anniversary Daft Punk Homework. And this has like a kind of a raised, embossed logo here. This is on Daft Life Limited. This is their debut album. It's really early, from like 1997, and it is hardcore club music, very loopy, very repetitive, and mostly made to dance to. So it's very electronic. That is not to say that this doesn't have any depth. Active listening reveals many surprises on here and subtleties that make, just kind of trancing out to it a great experience. So if you like good electronic music, this needs to be in your collection. Now, if you are a new Daft Punk, mostly because of Random Access Memories or Tron Legacy soundtrack, and you're looking for more of their music like that, and you're not really otherwise into electronica, house, or techno, this is probably not a good place for you to start. Your next album should probably be Discovery, and that's the closest thing to Daft Punk's more recent work in their back catalog. And if you can't get into that, you'd probably be advised to stop there. This is for people who just like them all the way through, and here it is now for you. Believe it or not, the 25th anniversary. Wow, crazy. And I believe that's just on regular black vinyl. All right, next is the Decemberists Thetane. This is on Jealous Butcher Records. Now, this is an 11-track full-length album that collects the Tane and 5 songs EPs. The Tane was an EP that the Decemberists released in 2004, and I think in 2005 by Kill Rock Stars. Anyway, the single 18, is it? Yeah, it's an 18-plus minute track in 5 parts. It's named after the Irish mythological epic Tainbo Cuileáin, often simply called the Tane. Thing is, I love the Decemberists, but sometimes I just think that this intellectual, over-the-top bullshit just kind of goes too far with them, and it's kind of like, I don't know. I appreciate the music. I appreciate Colin Malloy's voice, but just sometimes I just feel like they get so heavy, bogged down with just trying to be so angular and arty, and I don't know, it can be a bit tedious, let's say that. Okay, so for more salt of the earth type stuff, let's go for the reissue of Def Leppard Pyromania. This is on Phonogram Records Limited, the 3rd studio album by English rock band Def Leppard. It was originally released in 1983, and this is the album that really kind of broke them and yielded singles like Photograph and Foolin', Rock of Ages, that kind of stuff. And also, we've got Retroactive. This was the band's first compilation, and it was released in 1993. Features touched up versions of B-sides and previously unreleased recordings from the band's recording sessions from 1984 to 1993. Now, I think the reason that they're putting these reissues out is they're about to embark on a huge stadium tour, and I think it was probably the time was ripe to get some of these reissues out the door for them, because I think that that's supposed to be like this summer, something like 36 stadiums, big shows, So, okay. Next up, this is pretty cool. This is Devo's Gerald V. Casale, aka Jihad Jerry and the Evildoers, and this is on Real Gone Music. So in 2005, Devo's Gerald V. Casale released the notorious Jihad Jerry and the Evildoers album as a limited edition CD from cordless recordings with contributions from all of his Devo bandmates, Josh Freese, Bob Casale, Bob Mothersbaugh, and Mark Mothersbaugh. And it's considered to be the Lost Devo album. And kind of a holy grail for collectors. So now Real Gone Music presents Jihad Jerry and the Evildoers in a special gatefold and inner sleeve package featuring artwork by the acclaimed woodcut artist Tomo77. The release also includes a very special bonus track, I'm Gonna Pay You Back, featuring members of Devo joining forces for the first time ever with Oingo Boingo's lead guitarist Steve Bartek. It's been over 10 years since Devo's 2010 album Something for Everybody, and this one will shake the thirst of the band's devotees. It's on red vinyl pressing, and yeah, if you've been wanting that for years, you can get it now, free and breezy. All right, next up is Justin Townes Earl, Single Mothers and Absent Fathers on Vagrant Records. Now, this is the 25th anniversary edition on limited yellow with black splatter vinyl. It's a double LP release of the 5th and 6th albums. Single Mothers was an album that came out in 2014, and its companion, Absent Fathers, came out in 2015. And originally, they were released as two separate albums. But Vagrant releases them now both together as a double, pressed on this yellow with green and black splatter vinyl. So as part of their 25th anniversary series. Anyway, Justin Townes Earl died in August of 2020. He was a singer, a musician, an entertainer, and a music historian. But the job title that meant the most to him was songwriter. Of course, over 8 full-length albums and 1 EP, this Nashville-raised singer released during his lifetime, he wrote songs that explored dark frailties and vulnerabilities of the human condition. And, you know, with a really unrivaled honesty, just his unsparing honesty that just like helped place him at the center of the next generation of artists surrounding the growing Americana and roots genres in the late 2000s and early 2010s. So that's here for you now, and packaged together as a double instead of 2 singles. Okay, next up, this is a 7-inch, and this is Julia, Jacqueline, and covering a Bill Fay song. Okay, so this American folk singer songwriter Julia Jacqueline, she's released a cover of the legendary singer-songwriter Bill Fay's Just to Be a Part. So at the tail end of 2021, independent record label Dead Oceans announced its plans to reissue Still Some Light. It's a double compilation record made up of Fay's 1970 album demos and 2009 home recordings. Most of the LP's material found its way onto Time of the Last Persecution, but some songs were never officially recorded by Fay. So now those tracks are being compiled and re-released along with some timely covers by artists influenced by Fay's pastoral folk. Julia Jacqueline is one of them, and it's here for you now on 7-inch. And I think I'm going to sneeze. Maybe not. When you're going to sneeze, they say look at the lights or look up, and it kind of diffuses it. That's just a little tip for you. Okay, this week it's coming in the new release pile, although it's already out. But this is Fontaines DC, the great Fontaines DC, but it's on black vinyl this week. So that's why it's considered a new release, even though we've had it in the deluxe gatefold and on red vinyl. Just letting you know. Okay, then next up we have Ford, The Color of Nothing, and this is on the Foreign Family Collective label. So The Color of Nothing is the sophomore album from the 20-year-old Grammy-nominated artist Ford. He says that the color of nothing represents what you see when you close your eyes and rub them, and although your eyes are shut, what appears to you in this moment is this indescribable hue. It's not black, it's not white, or any color that can be described. For him, it's the color of nothing. It's liberating, a blank canvas where he can, create ideas openly. So this is a collection of songs. It's a reflection and a culmination of experiences from the last 2 years of his life. It's been a difficult but rewarding chapter wherein he found himself having to grow up quickly, he says. He moved across the world. He entered and then dropped out of school, suffered loss, struggled personally, started touring, made new friends, and decided to pursue music full time. So collectively, it reflects this beautiful and complex time in his life. Anything is possible. There's a hope in this album. It's a honest and genuine reflection of his life in the last 2 years. So if you want to check that out. Now we have Girls Against Boys, House of GVSB. And this is on Touch and Go Records. And this is the seminal post-hardcore band Girls Against Boys. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary of the 1996 release of their critically acclaimed album House of GVSB, with a double vinyl release here. And reissue, packaged in full color gatefold jacket. A and B are the original album mastered by Bob Weston. Side C and D feature odds and ends from the band's 90s era work and includes sought after B-side singles, compilation tracks, and one previously unreleased recording. Okay, and let's see, sticker got a little rolled here on this one, but all right, it's on yellow vinyl, limited edition pressing of 500 on yellow vinyl. Almost couldn't see that because the sticker got rolled up on itself. All right, this is Hailstorm, Back from the Dead. It's on Atlantic. Back from the Dead, it quickly evolved from songwriting exercises into a matter of survival for the band, taking the listener through a journey of navigating mental health, debauchery, survival, redemption, and rediscovery, and while maintaining faith in humanity, says frontwoman Lizzie Hale. It's on exclusive translucent ruby-colored vinyl. All right. This is Jackson and Sellers' Breaking Point, and this is on the Anti-label. It's a pressing, it's a 2021 release, introducing Jade Jackson and Aubrey Sellers. Woo, my pile is attacking me. All right. Anyway, these girls are two rising stars that aligned during the pandemic to write one of the most compelling duo albums of the last decade, drawn together by instant chemistry, cosmic forces, and their ability to write intuitive romantic breakup songs for each other. The album is a window into the dissolution of two different relationships and the formation of another. It's a perfect platonic creative union, united in their desire to write a record that reflected their expansive musical interest in 70s rock to raucous roots to indie pop. Their LA-written, Nashville-recorded album is a masterclass in the unexpected vocal harmonic convergence. With Breaking Point, Jackson and Sellers established themselves as two individual artists who together share deep friendship, musical kinship, and the ability to craft these like tight, singular pop rock songs that kind of embed themselves in your ears, and you might enjoy this. Something different. Next up, this is the Jazzstronauts, Out of the Night, and this is on the New Tone label. It's a debut from the Staten Island future jazz combo, inspired by and reflecting the sights and sounds of nightlife on the album on the island. It features 11 improvisational performances, blending jazz, funk, and hip hop. The first pressing is on limited translucent red vinyl, so that's something new to try too. Sorry. When I start talking too much, I just want to cough. All right, this is Midlife, live from the South Channel Island, and this is on the Heavenly label. Their 2020 sophomore album, Automatic, debuted in the top 10 on the Australian charts, and it saw them elevate as a band to more disciplined, directional, and arguably more danceable synergy. So with tightly structured arrangements making way for melodic improvisation and these ethereal vocals, they effortlessly glide between live performances and studio songwriting. They're like Kraftwerk and Herbie Hancock, Quarantine and Bob Moog's workshop kind of sound. In early 2021, unable to play live shows due to the pandemic, they traveled by boat to a long abandoned 19th century island to perform for fairy penguins and abalone poachers. Okay. The result is Live from South Channel Island. It's a 70-minute motion picture and live album where they masterfully recreate the magic of their live shows, framed by the gorgeous Port Phillip Bay. Okay. I mean, that's kind of an interesting project. It's, not really sure why, but I guess if they got the result that they wanted, then it's all good, right? Okay, now let me just adjust my screen. All right, this is Mill and Colin for Monkeys, 25th anniversary edition of this on Epitaph. Third album by the Swedish punk rock band Mill and Colin, originally released in 1997 in the United States by Epitaph. It's on Psychedelic Green, which is sort of a solid yellow and green transmix, and this includes a bonus track this time around. All right, this is Mom Jeans, Sweet Tooth, and Pink and Black, A-side, B-side. So Sweet Tooth feels like an eternal dessert before dinner, a rejection of the idea that we need to suffer before we get to the good stuff. So you've got you got one life, indulge your sweet tooth, without seeming that they've started to take themselves too seriously. Well, obviously not. They've produced something more mature, settled, and cohesive than their previous releases. But, it's still very, joyful, right? And speaking of joy, here's Mount Joy, live at Red Rocks. This is 2 LPs, and this is on Dual Tone Music Group. So their climb into the musical stratosphere kind of owes a great deal to their very highly energetic and passionate live performances. So they've sold out room after room across the country and have toured with arena acts like the Lumineers, among many others. And fans would really flock to their shows. So when the coronavirus pandemic sidelined the touring industry, they really felt the effects in a very significant way. So fast forward to May of 2021, artists and fans alike are finally emerging, and Mount Joy steps on the stage at Red Rocks Amphitheater. And after playing the biggest show on record since live music began to open back up, this Live at Red Rocks showcases their spirited performance in front of a sold-out Colorado crowd, and the energy felt from the audience's thrill of experiencing live music again is unmistakable even through the airwaves. So that's a nice thing. I've never been to Red Rocks, and I would love to see a show there. From what I understand, it is like an absolutely amazing venue. So that's kind of bucket list stuff, right? Okay. This is Night Tempo, Ladies in the City, and this is on the Hip O label. So Night Tempo is a South Korean producer, DJ, instrumental in the recent international boom of city pop. It released his first major label album here, Ladies in the City. It's a clear LP with a 16-page booklet, and it also comes on cassette. All right. I know I'm not delving too heavily into some of these things because I'm just trying to keep it going. Here's The Offspring, a reissue of Ignition, because it's the 30th anniversary edition of this. It's on Epitaph, and it's pressed on pink, yellow, and clear vinyl. And it's the second studio album from American rock band The Offspring. Was originally released in 1992 by Epitaph Records. It was issued during the alternative rock and grunge era, and the album brought the band small success in Southern California, and it was as they were starting to gather a following. So that's available again 30 years ago. Kind of wild, huh? Okay, this is Oka Pop Star. It's called Ear Candy, and this is on Misfits Records. Now, this is a limited edition candy swirl bite vinyl as seen in the cover art. So this is what your vinyl looks like here, like a big peppermint, kind of great. And okay, so it comes with an MP3 download card and an exclusive variant Sweetie Candy Vigilante 24-page digital comic book. Ear Candy debuts all new material and sweet new recordings by Oka Pop Star, wrapped in a candy-coated punk rock package sure to induce a sugar rush. Fronted and produced by longtime Misfits and Ramones collaborator John Cafiero on vocals, with Dean Rispler, formerly of New York performance art rock band the Voluptuous Horror of Karen Black, switching off on guitar and bass duties with John Worster of Superchunk, Bob Mould, and the Mountain Goats on drums. It includes guest appearance by indie rocker Colin Green on backing vocals for 2 tracks, gorgeous front cover art by Josh Howard, wicked back cover art by Jeff Zorno, who's from Godzilla Comics, and it's a kawaii black metal interior art by Neiman's, a download card with MP3s and that exclusive variant full color 24-page Sweetie Candy Vigilante digital comic book is unavailable anywhere else. So in addition to being one of the coolest, most unique looking vinyl records you're ever to find, Ear Candy is cut at 45 RPMs for maximum sound quality. Now I would say it's probably a really good looking disc, if they're saying it's like that. It's probably quite nice. All right, next up, Donny Osmond, Start Again, if you must. All right, this is on BMG Rights Management, and it says, although he has not stopped performing, this is his first solo album since 2004. His fans are absolutely ecstatic. His fans are absolutely ecstatic over the album's release. Even if it's not traditional Donny Osmond, it's straight pop, which is different for this singer who's known for a more classic rock music that sometimes ventures into pop. Okay, so there he is. He's making records again. All right. So this is Per Ubu, Nuke the Whales. It's 2006 to 2014, 4 LPs in a box on Fire Records. It's a 4 LP box set tracing the innovative process of Per Ubu between 2006 and 2014. All 4 LPs have been remixed and remastered and includes a high-quality download. So the 4 LPs on here are Why I Love Women, Lady from Shanghai, Long Live Per Ubu, and Carnival of Souls. Okay, so that's a nice fancy box for that release. Okay, moving on. This is Pink Mountaintops. It's called Peacock Pools. This is on ATO. And it's Pink Mountaintops' first new album in 8 years. It features 12 songs sparked from Stephen McBean's magpie-like curiosity for a wild expanse of cultural artifacts like David Cronenberg, Disney read-along records from the 70s, early Pink Floyd, mid-career Gary Newman, John Carpenter movies, Ornette Coleman live videos, featuring like counterculture icons like Stephen McDonald from Red Cross and Dale Crover from the Melvins. Peacock Pools alchemizes those obsessions into a body of work with its own enchanting power. It's on light blue vinyl with green, yellow, and blue splatter, and it includes a download. So, I'm not real familiar with this guy, but he's been away for a while, but I guess now he's got a whole new catalog of things to say. And he really is influenced by weird counterculture oddities. So could be interesting. This is Possessed, 7 Churches. This is on the Combat label. It's the debut album from American death metal band Possessed. The title of the album refers to the 7 churches of Asia mentioned in the Book of Revelation. Okay? It's limited green color vinyl. I don't know how limited, and I don't know how green. It's just, that's all the information that I've got there. Okay, so this is a classic in what they call Western music. This is old school. It's not like stadium country. This is Marty Robbins, and it sings gunfighter ballads and trail songs. Now this is on the Real Gone Music label, and they're proud to present the original mono version here of what most folks consider to be the single greatest post-war album of Western music. Marty Robbins' 1959 recording gunfighter ballads, and trail songs. It's everything about this album is iconic, from its quick draw cover art to the songs it contains. Big Iron, Cool Water, The Master's Call, Billy the Kid, stuff like that, okay? And of course, El Paso is also on here. It's a rare full-length version that's included on this pressing. And this has all come to define the Western genre. The music that has never sounded better than it does here. This is clear with black gunsmoke swirl pressing. It comes complete with the amazing original album art. Classic album, even more collectible than ever before. We've had this in the store. We normally have been able to sell it on CD, but it hasn't been around on vinyl. So I think that's a exciting thing for folks. Like I said, it's a very big difference, to my mind anyway, in the genre of country music. That old school kind of stuff, hands down, I think it beats modern stadium country that I can't get into at all. But to each his own. This is Roots, Deeper Roots. I'm sure that we had this like recently. I don't know what it's doing in here. It's on the We Are Busybodies label. It's they're saying a long out of print sophomore album. But I mean, this just looks so familiar to me. I could swear that we had this in some form, like, weeks or months ago. I don't know. But anyway, it's long out of print, sophomore album by South Africa's Roots. It will see a reissue here. Originally released on the Highway Soul label in 1975. The album it blends jazz and funk with signature South African motifs. Roots was led by master saxophonist Barney Rockabane. But that cover art looks so familiar to me. I don't know. Maybe one of you guys remembers. Okay, this is a big seller. This is Run the Jewels 2, and it's on the Mass Appeal label. This was the second studio album by the American hip-hop duo Run the Jewels, which consists of Killer Mike and ELP. The album was released early for free on October of 2014, and the following day on iTunes it was made available on CD and LP by Mass Appeal Records, and also in 2014. So it's part of the RSD Essential series, and it's got the Obi here to indicate that. But anyway, already been blowing out the door today. Okay, this is hope I say this right. Sada Bonaire, 1992. This is on Captured Tracks. Now, recently recovered from a cellar in East Berlin in 1992, it compiles the cult German studio project Sada Bonaire's long-lost early 90s material. It was produced between Bremen and New York City. The 12 songs presented here capture the group's attempts at steering their trademark fusion sound, which was reggae, Afro-funk, Eastern music, and sultry German female vocals, into uncharted new jazz, trip-hop, and house territories. It was co-produced by renowned DJ Matthias Hellbron and Francois Kevorkian's at their Axis Studios. This is a new collection. It was considered too bizarre for the 1990s record label standards, and as a result, the material was never published. So still sounds fresh, and 1992 further demonstrates Sada Bonaire's flair for creating pop music for past, present, and future outsiders. Okay? If you've ever been after that or wanted to know what that was all about, you can get that pretty easily now. All right, this is Sigrid, How to Let Go, and this is on the Island label. While the pandemic and lockdown aren't mentioned directly in her lyrics, their influence over How to Let Go is really felt on this record. The past 2 years have been a time of deep reflection for Sigrid, having returned to Norway during the pandemic from LA for more experiments in pop alchemy, and coming through with 2 very special songs under her belt. Last summer's empowerment anthem, Mirror, and It Gets Dark, the 25-year-old's thundering ode to accepting the bad times so that the good moments can break through. And that's out here now on 180-gram black vinyl. That's her full length. Okay, so here's a blast from the past. Believe it or not, Soft Cell have a new record out called Happiness Not Included, and this is on BMG Rights Management. Legendary frontman Mark Almond and producer instrumentalist Dave Ball are set here, returning with their fifth studio album, Happiness Not Included. It represents their new album. No, I'm sorry. It represents their first new album since they issued Cruelty Without Beauty back in 2002. So it's been a minute. They return with an album that makes the very best of their vantage point as synth pop elders with an eye on the future. It's it cleverly compares the 80s promises of a future straight out of science fiction with rocket ships, monorails, electricity that never fails, with how things have actually turned out. So it's got that duality to it, and they're the masters of that kind of synth pop. So here they are again. This is Stand Atlantic. It's FEAR, or maybe we are just supposed to say Fear for the title. Anyway, it's on Hopeless Records. This is an Australian four-piece. They're back with their third album here called Fear, which includes hit single Death Wish, featuring Nothing Nowhere, and Pity Party featuring Royal and the Serpent. So Fear was born out of chaos and frustration and uncertainty. This album is for those who don't fit the narrative and who seek the cracks and exist in between. It serves as a reminder that when you feel expectations are walking you down the wrong path, they say, fuck everything and run. And this is on transparent orange vinyl. And it's got a download card as well. Okay. Then we have Staples Junior Singers. When do we get paid? And this is on the Oka Pop label. And did you know that is David Byrne's label? David Byrne from the Talking Heads. Well, the Staples Singers, and they're a family band from the small town of Aberdeen, Mississippi. And they wrote these stone cold soul songs when they were just teenagers, and all of them were about what their family was going through at the time. So back then they just had like this one question on their mind, something they were sure a lot of us could relate to: when do we get paid? So they formed in 1971 when Annie and Edward Brown were 11. Annie, ARC, and Edward Brown were 11, 12, and 13. So the Staples Junior Singers were this family band, as I said. They have nothing to do with Mavis Staples, Pop Staples. They're not related. But they played talent shows and then clubs, and their reputation grew, traveling from their native Aberdeen, Mississippi, across the Bible Belt to showcase their soulful gospel sound. They recorded their first and only album, When Do We Get Paid, in Tupelo, Mississippi, selling its limited run of copies at shows and on their front lawn. So now it's back in print, courtesy of David Byrne through Oka Pop Records. And just really great gospel, soulful, earthy stuff, okay? This is Sunflower Bean, Head Full of Sugar, and this is on the Mom and Pop label. This is marked by two vocalists who often take turns within a song. Sunflower Bean is an indie rock trio outfit out of New York City. 22 in Blue, the band's sophomore album, co-produced by Unknown Mortal Orchestra's Jacob Portrait and Matt Molnar, formerly of Friends. It debuted on the UK's top 40 album charts and on Billboard's independent album charts. And in early 2019, the band released a new EP, King of the Dudes, which featured BBC Radio 1's hottest record in the world, Come For Me. And they recorded the EP in LA during the summer of 2018. This kind of comes to you here on transparent orange vinyl. And what is that, 11 tracks? Yeah. So that's courtesy of Mom and Pop. All right, 3 Days Grace, Explosions. How much do we love this album cover? Is that just not great? That heart fireball? I love that. These guys are Canadian rockers, 3 Days Grace. They're back with a cracking seventh studio album, Explosions, a heady mix of hard rock, grungy alt, and power ballads, and that will please just about everyone. Something here for everybody, okay? But man, I love that cover. I just think it's gorgeous. All right, this is Tink, Heat of the Moment, and this is on Winter's Diary WD label. I don't really know what that means. Okay, this is a Chicago singer and rapper. Tink is back to claim her rightful title as the undisputed queen of Chicago R&B. Her fourth studio album, Heat of the Moment, is executive produced by Hitmaker and includes production from Io and Keys, O.G. Parker, Tariq Beats, and Platinum Libraries. Tink shows off her writing prowess and taps in with a tight but strong song list. Features including Young Blue, Jeremy DeVito, and Kodak Black. I don't always think I can pronounce these names correctly, but I know it means something to people who are into this genre, so I apologize if I'm butchering anyone's name. Anyway, it adds to an already impressive body of work. The album has amassed over 45 million streams since its release and debuted at number 7 on the Billboard Indie charts. So you can get that now. Now I need to mention this, even though I don't have it here to show you because the shipment is late. But of course, how could we not talk about the new Eddie Vedder ukulele songs that is out today? It's his second studio album. It includes 16 original songs and new arrangements of classic standards, featuring a number of songs that Vedder penned and first played live. Ukulele Songs also includes a ukulele version of Pearl Jam's 2002 track Can't Keep, and it has a guest vocalist on 2 of the tracks, Glenn Hansard on Sleepless Nights, and the great Cat Power on Tonight You Belong to Me. Now, if you guys, do you remember that movie, The Jerk, with Steve Martin in it? Do you remember that scene where he's on the beach with Bernadette Peters and he's playing ukulele and they're singing that song, Tonight You Belong to Me? It's a great song, and it's made for ukulele, and we were listening to this today, and it's a great version that Eddie Vedder's got here too. So it's going to be available on 180-gram black vinyl, and it should be in early next week. Shipments are just delayed, so what can I tell you? I didn't want to not talk about it, though, because I know you guys are probably waiting. Okay, Warpaint, Radiate Like This, Virgin Music International. Radiate Like This is their anticipated new record, their first in almost 6 years. It arrives with its own modern mythology intact, continuing the strange, brilliant, beautiful story of the band, and quite neatly picking up where 2016's Heads Up left off. In the previous album, it was a coming-of-age album. Radiate Like This presents Warpaint all in their glory, a luminous coalescence of sound and vision, an album that pulsates with ideas and energy, and most crucially, gorgeous melodies. And I think that there are 2 ways that this one comes to. If I can just consult my little notes because I don't see any stickers. Okay, one is on yellow vinyl. Now, how do we know that? No stickers. I think this is one. They look identical, so I don't know which one's yellow. If you come in, have the guys at the counter shoot the barcode for you, and they can tell you if you've got a yellow one or not. God, that's so frustrating. Okay, I'm sorry it's taken so long, guys. Let's wrap this up with our last couple of reissues. We've got The Who, a quick one, and this is a half-speed master on the Geffen label, and it's their second album. It was released in 1966. It contains the experimental music suite, A Quick One While He's Away, which is a nod to rock operas that were to follow, plus the tracks Boris the Spider and Don't Look Away. It's packaged in an original sleeve with an OB and a certificate of authenticity. And this vinyl edition is engineered by Miles Showell at Abbey Road Studios with half-speed mastering technique that produces a superior vinyl cut. And lastly, The Who, My Generation. It's on Geffen, and it's their debut album. It was released in 1965, and it peaked at number 5 in the UK, and it launched the band into worldwide acclaim. It contains My Generation, The Kids Are All Right, and The Ox, and was mastered from the original tapes by The Who's a longtime engineer, John Astley, packaged in an original sleeve with an obi and a certificate of authenticity. This vinyl edition is engineered by Miles Schoell at Abbey Road Studios, and a half-speed mastering technique produces, again, the superior vinyl experience. Do you believe it? Their debut album, and they were just cranking out My Generation, and The Kids Are All Right. Like, you know, people have careers that go on forever and don't even have, like, songs that good. This was just right out of the gate in their debut. Okay, so enough talking. Enjoy your weekend, everybody, and I hope you found something that inspires you to try something different, or that you're happy about, that it's if it's out, if you've been waiting for it. I will see you next week, and happy Mother's Day to the mothers out there. And don't forget to call your mother, or take your mother to brunch, or do something nice. And yeah, see you next week.